Paleontologist reacts to Walking with Dinosaurs official trailer 2025. Should be turning the music off for this. What am I doing? A few years ago, rumors started to circulate of a new BBC Walking with Dinosaurs. I was not as excited about the new Walking with Dinosaurs as many other people are online. I've got a personal grievance there, you know? They kept me from doing science outreach for a solid 5 or 6 weeks, honestly, over the past 2 years. Annoying. And it's not like it would. Yeah, it's not like it would have harmed their production at all in any way whatsoever. It's just pointless bureaucracy. Hey, I'm Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old fashioned science outreach. When I'm not out in the field digging up dinosaurs live on stream, I'm here in my office talking about them, going over the latest scientific papers just published, interviewing other paleontologists, doing lots of viewer Q&A and all that good stuff. If any of that sounds interesting to you, check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/paleontologizing. I stream most weekdays, Monday through Thursday, from about 1 p.m. California time to about 6 p.m. Unless I'm in the field, then it's 7 days a week, and hours can kind of move around as weather permits. But yeah, check me out on Twitch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for 2025's Walking with Dinosaurs. But first, I think I might have to pay my landlord here. Huh, sweetie pie. Yeah. This is a big deal, and it kind of sparked a bunch of almost copycat programs. A couple years later, you had When Dinosaurs Roamed America, which I show clips from all the time. That had Jim Kirkland in it, too. That was a big part of my childhood. I was so excited for When Dinosaurs Roamed America. It came out in 2001, I think, on Discovery Channel. Blew my mind. I'm so excited about it. Also, things like Dinosaur Planet and Chased by Dinosaurs and just a bunch of others, kind of leading up to Prehistoric Planet, which is now thought of as kind of the gold standard of nature documentary style programs featuring live dinosaurs, you know? Reacting. Give us shock. Give us disgust. Ooh. Give us mirth. That, I think that's Josh Lively right there, potentially. No? It might be. This looks kind of like the Lori's Ankylosaur site. Might be. First thoughts? The dinosaurs do look a lot like they do in Prehistoric Planet, which is not a bad thing. There's a similar kind of feel. I wonder if any of the same animators are involved with this, if they've got the same studio or something. I'm not sure. But honestly, this is kind of the part that I'm most excited about, like seeing some of my friends and colleagues on screen. I heard a lot of stories of the shoot that BBC did there at Lori's site, the Ankylosaur site near Moab, Utah. Yeah, I heard some stories. So what are these right here? Long, thin bones. That could be like a fibula or something, or they could be they're probably ribs. I bet you those are ankylosaur ribs. This might be at Lori's site too. And then Spinosaurus. I'm a little bit leery of the whole Spinosaurus segment because I thought I saw a subaqueous Spinosaurus, like pursuit predating a saw skate, which they didn't do that. I don't. I work on Spinosaurids, and so already I've got misgivings about this. It's like, what are they doing here? Lovely baby Triceratops. I love that. This makes me really happy that Triceratops ontogeny has become the theme that you see repeated again and again in popular media. I love it. I love it. So Triceratops changes dramatically as it grows and matures. And this is largely work that was done at Museum of the Rockies. Also a little bit here in Berkeley. People like Mark Goodwin and Jack Horner and John Scannella and Denver Fowler working on Triceratops ontogeny. Important stuff. I love that that's become fodder for documentaries like this. It's really, really cool, you know? Yeah, and this looks a lot like it's not SG5. Which particular Triceratops is that? There's a phenomenal display at Museum of the Rockies where I used to work. So this specimen right here is the one I was thinking of. I'm pretty sure that's what this Triceratops from Walking with Dinosaurs is based on. Lovely. Such a cool display here. Starts to do that the more that they grow. Really amazing. Showing these different growth stages. Now, this is actually a little bit more complicated than this because we've got Triceratops. Not only do they change during their lifespans, but they're also evolving over time. Anyway, you get the idea. Well, anyway, really cool to see this, like an emphasis on Triceratops ontogeny in Walking with Dinosaurs. Hopefully there's some discussion about this, and hopefully they get it more right than Prehistoric Planet did, because I had a few nitpicks there. Somebody who's worked in this milieu, somebody who's dug up a lot of Triceratops. I wasn't 100% content with their portrayal of Triceratops in that. Anywho. Oh, and that's interesting. Who is this? I wonder if this is supposed to be Nanoxaurus. If it's facing off against, Hang on, that doesn't look like a Pachyrhinosaurus horn. Over here. That looks like a trike-brow horn. Is that a juvenile Tyrannosaurus? Or maybe it's Nanotyrannus? Maybe we'll see. Oh, and there we had Gastonia, don't we? Right here, yes! So this is going to be, presumably, the episode that they were shooting footage for at Lori's site. One that I was not allowed to be at in live stream. This is going to be Gastonia Lori McWhinney, presumably. Jim was saying he really hopes that they make the spikes long enough because he was concerned that they wouldn't do that. But this is going to be a dinosaur facing off against... They're going to call it Utahraptor in this, but Jim is like, yeah, it's not actually Utahraptor. It's going to be a later Dromaeus, or maybe the direct descendant of Utahraptor, possibly, but calling it Utahraptor Ostromesi is... That's going to be technically incorrect. At least in a few years once these things get published, you know? Pretty upset about this, honestly. Not going to lie. I wasn't able to stream from a fossil site that I was going to help out with because apparently the BBC had a contract with the university who employed some of the paleontologists at the site. So I wasn't able to live stream that. We were supposed to have 2 or 3 more weeks of field work, more live streams from the field in 2024 and 2023. And we were not allowed to do that because the BBC had an exclusive contract to film like B-roll and explanatory footage for the new Walking with Dinosaurs. And so I was pretty miffed about that, to be honest. But what could I do, you know? Hopefully we'll be able to be there this next year, and you'll see what we've been missing for the past 2 years. But, yeah, so I don't know. For that reason, I was not as excited about the new Walking with Dinosaurs as many other people are online. And this looks like, presumably, Pachyrhinosaurus. It would be really cool if this were set up in or near Pipestone Creek. If this were like a story about that incredible fossil assemblage up there in Alberta, the one that we've shown that talk by Emily Bamforth about all the variation in the parietals and squamosals of these animals. That would be really cool if it's set there. Pachyrhinosaurus. Hopefully it shows them with their crazy amount of individual variation too. It does bug me when you've got like a dinosaur documentary and like there's a bunch of adults of the same species of dinosaur and they all look like carbon copies of one another. I kind of feel like Prehistoric Planet could have added some additional individual variation. Given that ceratopsids like Pachyrhinosaurus have crazy individual variation, I hope they feature that here. Little baby Triceratops here. And that looks like a horn shape for Triceratops prorsus, which raises the question, is this supposed to be the very end of the Cretaceous? Is this supposed to be, like, are we going to see the KPG impact take place? The Chicxulub impactor? I wonder if it'll feature that, because this does look like the nose horn of your later Triceratops species, the one that was there when the asteroid hit. So could be. Could be. Yeah, and this is a very cute visual of Fallen Orpheus. Yeah, pretty stout bases to the brow horns there. The face overall looks pretty prorsus-y, which, yeah. Again, another thing that I feel like Prehistoric Planet could have improved was, I don't feel like they were really taking into account the whole Horridus prorsus thing. I should check and see what Darren Naish has written about this, because maybe there's some reasoning things out there that I'm not aware of, but this is looking good. I'm happy with this. It would be nice if it were more brightly colored. That's always a sticking point for me. Ceratopsids evolved these crazy horns and frills and display characters like this. They should be really garish animals, and they're not often portrayed that way. Yeah, big old osteoderms on there. This, to me, denotes a titanosaur. This is also probably in the late Cretaceous. And we've got a tyrannosaur. Look at those lacrimal horns right there. This is either supposed to be a young T-Rex, or maybe something like Gorgosaurus or Albertosaurus. Or maybe it's supposed to be Nanotyrannus. A lot of the Nanotyrannus depictions that I see have got kind of super robust arms for a Tyrannosaur, and it doesn't seem like they're going with that here. So I bet you it's supposed to be a young Tyrannosaurus. Ooh, Titanosaur fight. And of course, Spinosaurus here. Interesting. The trouble with Spinosaurus is that you put it into a documentary or something and then it's going to be out of date by the time it comes out. And I feel like this has already got some things that I would dispute. But, I got to keep quiet about some of this stuff because my paper isn't published yet. Anyhow. Yeah, it's a very flat paddle/keel-like tail. So there is evidence of this in some kind of Spinosaurid from the almost Middle Cretaceous of North Africa. But is that actually Spinosaurus, though? A lot of the reconstructions that you see of Spinosaurus are chimeras. They're, parts of different kinds of Spinosaur from different times and different places, lumped together to make a complete skeleton. Here. Like this one right here. You've probably seen this exact image before. This is a mixture of different specimens from different countries, presumably different times. There might be different members of Spinosauridae, different species, different genera, maybe entirely different lineages like that, who who've had different parts assembled to make this whole here. Spinosaurus probably did not look like this. At least not Spinosaurus aegypticus, the one from Bahariya in Egypt. But anyway, we've got Utahraptor, or the descendant of Utahraptor, not yet named, and presumably Gastonia lori McLinnii here. Very cool. This is, I love the feathered arms there. There's so many different documentaries and movies and stuff that have gotten dromaeosaurs wrong. Looks like they've done a pretty good job, it looks like. Oh, here's our clue. I betcha these Pachyrhinosaurus here. Oh, I'm excited. I betcha this is about Pipestone Creek, about this this now famous fossil site up in Alberta, where you've got this mass death assemblage of Pachyrhinosaurus. Thought that maybe many of them died while crossing a river, maybe during a flash flood, maybe could be they're running from a forest fire during a flash flood. Who knows? But anyway, this gives me hope that that's what this is about, and that maybe they'll have some footage of the actual excavation up there at Pipestone Creek too. Maybe we'll get to see Emily Bamforth working on site, talking about the individual variation in these dinosaurs. That's really exciting. I hope that's what's going on here. The lightning strike, you see there? That makes me think this is the direction they're taking it in. That it's going to be about that mass death assemblage of Pachyrhinosaurus. Very cool. Very, very cool. And then we've got, presumably this is the big dromaeosaur from the Cedar Mountain Formation, descendant of Utahraptor perhaps. We saw earlier Gastonia, big armored dinosaur with big spikes running through a forest fire. It's got to be the same sequence here. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Beautiful rendition. I wonder if Jim is happy with this, if he thinks the spines are long enough. We'll get to talk to him about that extensively, I'm sure, this summer, and I'm excited for that. It's going to be good. Spinosaurus, like Mother Duck and her ducklings. Lots of nuzzling in this, showing a tenderer side of dinosaurs. I like that. I like that it almost feels like they're pushing back a little bit against this, like, oh, awesome, bro, dinosaurs flying through the air, everybody's got their mouths open and baring their teeth, where have we seen that before? It's meant to be tongue-in-cheek. But I like that they're moving away from that a little bit here, showing dinosaurs as, real animals that do everything that real animals do. Not spiky, spiny, toothy, just monsters screaming their heads off at all times, I like this. I like this. More nuzzling. More nuzzling. Yeah, Walking with Dinosaurs. So I'm cautiously excited about this. My main hope is that this will get more people in the general public interested in dinosaurs, and that this will make my job easier as a paleontologist and as a full-time science communicator. That the ideas that people will see in this will get implanted in their brains, and they'll have a better understanding of dinosaurs than they had before. The fact that, well, it would be malpractice at this point not to have feathers on your dromaeosaurs. So I'm really glad that they have that. These seem to be pretty good reconstructions of these dinosaurs. I think this is going to be a net good for the world. Even if it was such a bugbear for me over the past 2 years, not being able to do science outreach from that site because of this whole thing. I'm hoping that this will be a positive force in improving people's understanding of the age of dinosaurs. I'm optimistic about it. Yeah. Even if there was a subaqueous pursuit predator Spinosaurus in there. Oh boy. But it makes my research a little bit more relevant to the public, I suppose, having that in there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. Walking with Dinosaurs 2025. I'm excited. It's going to be cool seeing some colleagues in there. And I really hope that this is going to be a means of bringing the general public's understanding of dinosaurs up to what's current in dinosaur paleontology. Oh, is that a good spot? Is that a good spot?